Hi, I'm the academic astrologer, and I'm here to talk to you today about the Virgo Moon from Fertility Astrology by Nicola Smuts-Allsop. And she says that this is a signifier of different fertility aspects in her book. And so I wanted to go over some of the things that she talked about in her book. And please remember that astrology doesn't diagnose any medical conditions, and I'm not a medical professional, so please always consult your doctor. She mentions that the Virgo has issues with procrastination because they have a tendency to wait or want to wait until everything is perfectly lined up. And most of us know that nothing ever perfectly lines up. And then when you think it's perfectly lined up, it's still not perfectly lined up. If you keep waiting, then your fertility may pass or you may lose your window of opportunity. She also mentions that they can have diet restrictions due to fussiness, allergies, and so therefore they may have deficient nutrition, which might affect their fertility. And I thought this was really funny because my son is a Virgo moon and he has a bona fide egg allergy. So I thought that was rather fascinating. Another thing that she mentions is they might be allergic to their husband's own sperm. And I have seen people that were actually allergic to their husband's sperm. So it was kind of like an autoimmune issue where they would not be able to have a baby resulting from the sperm. And she associates that quality with the Virgo moon. And again, not every single Virgo moon is going to have that problem. She just says it's more of an association. So she has seen that happen. So as I was thinking what might be pertinent to a Virgo moon and then thinking about It Starts with the Egg book, and I was thinking that a lot of her fertility diet recommendations might be pertinent. And she actually wrote a book called It Starts with the Egg Fertility Cookbook. I don't actually have this cookbook because I think it was kind of released towards the end of my fertility journey, and I kind of already had my routine with food that seemed to be working. So I actually haven't read it, but I think it follows the Mediterranean diet and just gives you different ideas for how to enact the Mediterranean diet in real life. There's also a new book that I also haven't read because it came after my fertility journey, and that's Real Food for Fertility. I have read Real Food for Pregnancy by Lily Nichols, and that was just such an excellent book, so I can only imagine that Real Food for Fertility is just as good. But It Starts with the Egg has a whole diet section. And I know if you're already facing aversions to food, food restrictions and such things, it may be hard to have a fertility diet, but just whatever you can enact will probably help you on your journey. And again, a lot of It Starts with the Egg is based on PubMed research that the author did. So some things that she talks about first is your key goal is avoiding spikes in blood sugar. And so high glucose can damage egg quality, and especially highly processed carbs, she says, versus eating unrefined whole carbs. So high insulin can disrupt hormones in ovary and ovulation, and slow carbs such as nuts, seeds, veggies, beans, lentils are better than like cereal and bread. And she says if you do eat high carbs, to eat them after fiber and protein. And then also, if you can, go for a walk after meals. Even just like a 10-minute walk is helpful. And then also that high blood sugar contributes to ovarian aging as well. High blood sugar may cause egg quality to suffer because of mitochondria damage. Insulin resistance can cause higher risk of miscarriage. And so step number one that she talks about, reducing carbs, increasing fat, fiber, and protein. And she recommends 40% calories from carbs, 30% from protein, and 30% from fat. She also says, number two, choose slow carbs such as bean, lentils, nuts, seeds, and most veggies. And minimally processed whole grains such as quinoa, wild rice, brown rice, steel-cut oats, and buckwheat. Also reduce sugar and have fruit in moderation. So she mentions if you do need a sweet snack, that dark chocolate is a good choice. And number three, she says fiber, protein, and vinegar before carbs. So she says, eat carbs after your veggies or protein. And then she also mentioned 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in water can reduce glucose spike by 30%. And also, it can help hormone balance and restore ovulation. Also, she again mentions exercise after meals, even just 10 minutes. And she says you may choose to avoid gluten or dairy, but it's not necessary. And then she also talks about the Mediterranean diet being so helpful, especially an emphasis of fish, olive oil, nuts, legumes, antioxidant-rich veggies, and how it lowers inflammation. Veggies, fruit, whole grains, legumes, fish, olive oil. And she also mentions veggies, fish, meat, dairy, and eggs because of folate, B6, and B12. Especially anti-inflammatory fats and oils, such as fish, nuts, and olive oils. Omega-3 intake, maybe fish 2 times a week, such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, or supplementing with omega-3 supplements. Also, olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. And choose leaner cuts of meat, lower saturated fats, and limit alcohol and caffeine. If you'd like to book a fertility reading, please reach out to me at theacademicastrologer.com. Thank you and have a great day.